Hello there. Welcome to our channel. I am so glad you found your way here. Before we begin, take a moment to get comfortable. Today we will discuss about the secrets of dinosaurs' evolution. Long before dinosaurs walked the land, Earth looked very different. The continents were not arranged as they are today. The air felt heavier. The climate was warmer. Life existed, but not yet in the form we imagine when we think of dinosaurs. Around 250 million years ago, most of Earth's land was joined together. This supercontinent is known as Pangaea. There were no Atlantic or Indian Oceans. Instead, vast dry interiors stretched across the land. Before dinosaurs, Earth experienced a great transition. Many species disappeared. New groups slowly began to emerge. This shift was not a single moment. It unfolded over millions of years. Slowly, gradually, small reptile-like creatures began exploring new ecological roles. Some adapted to warmer climates. Some adapted to open landscapes. Evolution does not hurry. It experiments gently. Over time, among these early reptiles was a group called archosaurs. They would become important. From them would come crocodiles, pterosaurs, and eventually dinosaurs. At first, they were small, unremarkable, quiet inhabitants of a vast world. The world was hot and dry. Adaptations favored efficiency, long legs, upright posture, improved breathing systems. These changes were subtle, but important. Many early reptiles moved with sprawling limbs, but archosaurs began to stand more upright. This posture allowed more efficient movement. It conserved energy over millions of years. This advantage grew. It is important to pause here. There was no grass, no flowering plants. Forests were made of ferns, conifers, and cycads. The world looked alien, but calm. The first dinosaur ancestors were not giants. They were small, light, fast. They would not have drawn attention. In their time, evolution does not begin with size. It begins with adaptation. Evolution requires time, not decades, not centuries, but millions of years. Tiny changes accumulate. Gradually, they shape new forms. At first, dinosaurs were not dominant. They shared the world with many other reptile groups. Only later would they rise. Their success came not from sudden strength, but from flexibility, adaptability, energy efficiency, traits that accumulate quietly. The sky itself was different. Carbon dioxide levels were higher, temperatures warmer, oceans calmer in some regions, storms different. Everything was familiar, yet unfamiliar. There is no dramatic beginning, no sudden roar. Dinosaurs began as small reptiles in a warming world, and slowly, very slowly, they changed. Imagine standing on the edge of Pangaea. Warm air, sparse vegetation, small reptile-like creatures moving quietly. No giants yet, only beginnings. The first true dinosaurs did not dominate the earth. They were not giants. They were not rulers. They were small, light, and cautious. They lived in a world still shared by many other reptiles. Around 230 million years ago, during the late Triassic period, the first dinosaurs appeared. The climate was warm. Large deserts stretched across Pangaea. Seasonal rains arrived in cycles. The world felt vast and open. Early dinosaurs were not enormous. Many were about the size of a large dog. They moved on two legs. They were agile and likely quick. This upright posture was a quiet advantage. Unlike many reptiles before them, dinosaurs held their legs directly beneath their bodies. This allowed efficient movement. Energy was conserved over long distances. This mattered. Evolution favors efficiency. Some of the earliest known dinosaurs include small carnivores like Eoraptor and Herosaurus. They were not yet specialized. They were generalists, exploring possibilities. At this time, dinosaurs were a minority. Other archosaurs still held many ecological roles. Dinosaurs were experimenting, learning their environment, adapting slowly. Some early dinosaurs ate meat. Others began shifting toward plants. Dietary flexibility would become important over millions of years. This allowed diversification. Flowering plants had not yet evolved. The landscape was filled with ferns, conifers, seed ferns, cycads. Herbivorous dinosaurs adapted to chew tough vegetation. Dinosaurs grew quickly. Bone studies suggest rapid development. This allowed them to reach maturity faster than some competitors. A subtle evolutionary advantage. Evidence suggests that dinosaurs had advanced breathing systems, air sacs, similar to modern birds. This system improved oxygen exchange. In a warm climate, efficient breathing mattered. During the late Triassic, Earth continued to shift. Volcanic activity increased. Climate patterns fluctuated. Some groups declined. Dinosaurs quietly endured. There was no sudden takeover, no single moment when dinosaurs replaced others. Instead, over millions of years, their numbers increased. Their diversity expanded. Their adaptability proved useful. Evolution rewards patience. Small advantages accumulate. Better posture, efficient lungs, rapid growth, flexible diets. Over time, these traits compound. By the end of the Triassic, some dinosaurs were beginning to grow larger. Still not the giants of the Jurassic, but larger than their ancestors. Scale takes time. Their success was not dramatic. It was steady. They filled niches. They adapted to heat. They moved efficiently. The world slowly shifted in their favor. Imagine a warm Triassic evening. Dry wind across open plains. Small two-legged dinosaurs moving lightly across the landscape. No roaring, no dominance, just quiet survival. During the Triassic period, the continents were joined together as one immense supercontinent. Pangaea stretched from pole to pole. If you stood on its interior plains, you would see land extending far beyond the horizon. There were no familiar coastlines, no Atlantic Ocean, no separate continents, just one enormous landmass, quiet and expansive. The interior of Pangaea was dry. Rainfall was seasonal. Long periods of warmth were interrupted by brief wet cycles. Deserts spread widely. Wind shaped dunes. The air carried dust. Across open plains, plants that survived here were resilient. Conifers rose like tall spires. Ferns clustered near water. Cycads formed thick, sturdy leaves. Life found ways to persist. Adaptation was constant, but never rushed. Despite the dryness, rivers flowed during wet seasons. These waterways created oases, green patches in a mostly dry world. Here, animals gathered. Early dinosaurs moved cautiously along riverbanks. Water meant survival. Dinosaurs were not alone. Large amphibians still existed. Crocodile-like archosaurs were powerful competitors. Small mammal-like reptiles hid in the undergrowth. The ecosystem was diverse. Dinosaurs were just one part of it. The Triassic sky was unfamiliar. There were no birds yet. Pterosaurs, flying reptiles, began appearing. They glided quietly above open landscapes. The air belonged to them. For now, the days were warm. Nights cooled slowly, without vast oceans. To moderate temperature, extremes were common. Creatures adapted to shifting conditions. Early dinosaurs were likely alert and cautious. They were not apex predators. They needed speed, awareness, quick reflexes. Their survival depended on balance. Seasons mattered deeply. Dry periods limited food. Wet seasons allowed growth. Dinosaurs that adapted to these cycles had greater success. Flexibility became strength. Late in the Triassic, volcanic activity increased. Massive lava flows reshaped landscapes. Gases entered the atmosphere. Climate patterns shifted again. These changes were gradual, over long stretches of time. As environments changed, some dominant reptile groups declined. Dinosaurs, with their efficient posture and breathing systems, continued expanding. This was not sudden dominance. It was quiet replacement. Toward the close of the Triassic period, many competing groups diminished. Dinosaurs survived. Their numbers increased. Their forms diversified. They entered the next era, prepared for expansion. The stage was set. Forests spread. Moisture patterns changed. The climate became slightly more stable. Dinosaurs were positioned to explore new possibilities. Imagine standing on a Triassic plain at sunset. Warm air, red sky, distant silhouettes of small dinosaurs, moving quietly among conifers. The world is not dramatic. It is simply unfolding. Dinosaurs did not suddenly become large. They did not transform overnight. Evolution works in small adjustments, tiny changes, repeated across generations, over millions of years. Gradually, these changes accumulate. As the Triassic gave way to the Jurassic, dinosaurs began diversifying. Some remained small and swift. Others began increasing in size. Different body plans emerged. Different feeding strategies developed. The variety was subtle at first, but growing. Early in dinosaur evolution, two major groups appeared: Saurischians and Ornithischians. These names describe hip structures, but more importantly, they mark diverging evolutionary paths. From these two branches, many forms would arise. The Saurischians included early carnivores and the ancestors of giant long-necked dinosaurs. They typically walked on two legs. Many were agile. Some would later grow enormous. Ornithischians evolved toward herbivory. They developed specialized jaws, beaks, cheek teeth for grinding plants. Some walked on two legs. Others shifted toward four. Adaptation followed food sources. Diet strongly shapes anatomy. Plant-eating dinosaurs developed longer digestive tracts, stronger jaw muscles, broader teeth. Meat-eaters retained sharp, slicing teeth. Forward-facing eyes improved depth perception. As climates shifted into the Jurassic period, moisture increased in many regions. Forests expanded. Plant life diversified. This provided opportunities for herbivores to expand. And where herbivores thrive, predators follow. Increasing body size can provide protection. It can improve digestion of tough plants. It can reduce vulnerability to predators. But size also requires resources. Evolution balances trade-offs. Dinosaurs maintained upright posture. This allowed greater stamina. Energy-efficient locomotion became a defining feature. Long legs supported migration. Distance became manageable. Bone studies show many dinosaurs grew quickly. This reduced juvenile vulnerability. It allowed populations to stabilize more effectively. Growth rate is an evolutionary advantage. Air sacs connected to lungs, improved oxygen exchange. This system may have allowed higher activity levels, especially in warm climates. Efficiency once again proved valuable. Some early dinosaurs may have developed primitive feathers, not for flight, but for insulation, or display, or balance. Evolution experiments before perfecting new traits. Fossil evidence suggests some dinosaurs may have moved in groups. Tracks preserved in ancient mud show parallel paths. Group movement increases safety. Collective awareness. Natural selection does not announce itself. It simply favors what works. Traits that improve survival become more common. Traits that do not fade slowly. By the early Jurassic, some lineages were increasing dramatically in size. Long necks appeared, larger torsos, heavier limbs. The groundwork for giants was being laid. Despite these changes, the ecosystem remained balanced. Predators existed. Prey adapted. Plants spread. No species dominated completely. Balance shaped evolution. Imagine a lush early Jurassic forest. Tall conifers rising. Small herds moving quietly. Early long-necked dinosaurs. Browsing calmly among trees. No rush. No drama. Just steady transformation. The giant dinosaurs did not appear suddenly. They were not instant creations of enormous scale. Their size developed gradually through small changes across many generations. Evolution builds patiently. Among the saurischians, a group began extending their necks. These early forms were not yet enormous, but each generation grew slightly larger, slightly taller, slightly longer. A long neck allows access to more food without moving the entire body. It conserves energy. It allows browsing across wide areas in dense forests. This was valuable. Plant material is difficult to digest. Larger bodies can house larger digestive systems. Food can be processed slowly. Nutrients extracted more fully. Size became an advantage for herbivores. As herbivores grew larger, predators adapted as well. Some carnivorous dinosaurs also increased in size, but balance remained. No group eliminated another entirely. The ecosystem adjusted continuously. Growing larger required structural changes. Bones thickened. Limbs became column-like. Weight distribution improved. Dinosaurs developed efficient skeletal systems to support mass. Some giant dinosaurs had hollow spaces in their bones. These air-filled cavities reduced weight without sacrificing strength. A clever evolutionary solution. Lightness within size. Eventually, true giants emerged. Sauropods, long-necked, long-tailed, four-legged herbivores. Some reached lengths over 30 meters. They remain the largest land animals ever to walk the earth. Despite their size, sauropods moved steadily. Their footprints are preserved in ancient rock. Wide, circular impressions in once soft mud. They likely traveled in groups, calmly crossing plains. Large size requires energy, but it also reduces relative heat loss. In warm climates, large bodies remain stable. This may have supported their continued growth. During the Jurassic period, climates became more humid. Forests expanded. Plant life flourished. Food was abundant. Conditions favored large herbivores. Imagine standing in a Jurassic forest, towering trees, and even taller dinosaurs moving slowly between them, their necks rising above the canopy, their presence steady, not hurried. Large size provides protection. Few predators could threaten a fully grown sauropod, but juveniles were vulnerable. Group behavior may have offered safety. Even the largest dinosaurs began life as small hatchlings. Growth rates were rapid. Within years, they expanded dramatically. Bones record rings of development. A quiet story, written in structure. It is important to remember, not all dinosaurs became giants. Many remained small. Evolution does not move in one direction. It explores many possibilities. The rise of giants was not an act of dominance. It was adaptation, accessing food sources, managing digestion, optimizing energy use, gradual solutions to environmental opportunity. Imagine a herd of sauropods moving across an open plain, their steps slow, their necks swaying gently, wind moving through conifers. The earth feels vast, but peaceful. As the Jurassic period began, the world slowly changed. Moisture increased in many regions. Deserts shrank. Forests expanded. The dry interior of Pangaea became more varied. Life responded. Pangaea did not remain whole. Gradually, tectonic forces pulled land apart. Continents began drifting. Oceans widened. Coastlines formed. This separation created new environments, new climates, new evolutionary paths. Jurassic forests were rich and layered. Tall conifers reached upward. Beneath them, ferns spread in soft carpets. Cycads formed sturdy crowns. There were still no flowering plants, but greenery was abundant. With plant life expanding, herbivorous dinosaurs thrived. Sauropods grew large. Stegosaurs appeared, with plated backs and spiked tails. Each group adapted to specific feeding heights. Competition was reduced through specialization. Stegosaurs were distinct. Rows of plates lined their backs. Their heads were small, their bodies heavy. These plates may have helped regulate body temperature or display signals to others. Evolution experiments quietly. Large predators also emerged. Allosaurus was one of the dominant carnivores. It walked on two legs, balanced by a long tail. Yet even predators were part of a larger balance. They did not dominate unchecked. As continents shifted, some dinosaur groups became isolated. Isolation encourages diversification. Separated populations evolved differently over millions of years. Variety increases. The Jurassic climate was generally warm. Polar ice was absent. Sea levels were higher. Shallow seas spread inland. These shallow waters supported marine reptiles and abundant life. Pterosaurs became more diverse. They soared above forests, gliding between coastal cliffs. The sky slowly grew more active. Dinosaurs remained grounded. For now, near the late Jurassic, something subtle happened. Small feathered dinosaurs began experimenting with flight. Archaeopteryx is one early example. Feathers, once used for insulation, became tools for gliding. Evolution builds step by step. Feathers did not appear for flying alone. They likely first evolved for warmth, or display, or egg protection. Later, they became wings. Adaptation often repurposes what already exists. Fossil trackways suggest Some dinosaurs moved in groups. Parallel footprints stretch across ancient stone. Herding behavior provides safety and cooperation. The Jurassic was not chaotic. It was stable. Forests, rivers, plains, herbivores browsing, predators maintaining balance, diversity increasing quietly. As ecosystems matured, relationships became more complex. Plant eaters shaped vegetation. Predators shaped herbivore behavior. Every species influenced another. Evolution is not isolated. It is interconnected. Imagine a warm Jurassic morning. Mist lifting from a forest. A group of stegosaurs moving slowly through ferns. Distant silhouettes of long-necked sauropods against the horizon. The Earth feels alive, but calm. Among the many dinosaur lineages, some small theropods began developing a new feature. Feathers. Not large wings at first. Not powerful flight. Just fine filaments covering parts of the body. A subtle innovation. Feathers likely evolved for insulation. Small dinosaurs lose heat quickly. A covering of filament-like structures helped retain warmth, especially during cooler nights. Early feathers were simple, hair-like strands. Over time, they branched. They developed barbs. More complex shapes emerged. Evolution refined them gradually. Feathers may also have served for display, color patterns, visual signals, communication between individuals, attraction, recognition. Even small features can influence survival. Some small theropods may have used feathered forelimbs for balance while running, or for controlled leaps. Slight extensions of movement can become stepping stones toward larger capabilities. In the late Jurassic, a small creature appeared with both reptilian and avian traits. Archaeopteryx. It had teeth, a long bony tail, and feathered wings. It represents a transition. Not fully bird, not fully non-bird dinosaur. A bridge. Flight likely began with gliding. Small dinosaurs may have climbed trees or leapt between branches. Feathered limbs provided lift. Even limited lift can improve survival. The forelimbs of certain theropods gradually lengthened. Bones fused. Muscle attachments shifted. Over millions of years, arms transformed into wings. Not suddenly, but steadily. As flight evolved, bones became lighter. Air spaces expanded within them. Strength remained. Weight decreased. The body adjusted. For efficiency. Eventually, true birds emerged. They descended from small feathered dinosaurs. This connection is now well supported by fossil evidence. Birds are not separate from dinosaurs. They are living descendants. With the rise of birds, dinosaurs gained access to the sky. Flight expanded ecological roles. New food sources, new environments. Evolution continued upward. Evidence now shows that many dinosaurs had some form of feathers. Even some larger species. Feathers were not rare. They were part of a broader pattern. For a long time, dinosaurs were imagined as scaled and reptilian. Modern discoveries have reshaped that view. Many were feathered, dynamic, closer to birds than once believed. There is no sharp line between dinosaur and bird. The transition was gradual. Features shifted slowly over countless generations. Continuity defines evolution. As birds diversified, ecosystems changed again. Insects had aerial predators. Forests gained new movement. The sky became layered. Life expanded into 3 dimensions. Imagine a quiet Jurassic forest. A small feathered dinosaur, perched on a branch. It spreads its arms, glides gently to a nearby tree. Not dramatic, just an experiment in motion. Dinosaurs lived within ecosystems. No species existed alone. Herbivores depended on plants. Predators depended on herbivores. Plants depended on climate and soil. Everything connected. Everything balanced. Large plant-eating dinosaurs influenced their environment. As sauropods moved through forests, they likely cleared paths. As stegosaurs browsed, they shaped vegetation. Over time, plant growth adapted to grazing pressure. Evolution works in both directions. Not all herbivores fed the same way. Sauropods reached high into trees. Stegosaurs browsed mid-level plants. Smaller ornithopods fed closer to the ground. This vertical layering reduced competition. Herbivorous dinosaurs developed specialized teeth. Some had rows of grinding teeth. Others had beaks for clipping vegetation. Jaw muscles strengthened. Digestion improved. Adaptation followed diet. Herbivores evolved defensive features. Plates, spikes, horns, thick tails. These were not weapons of attack. They were protective structures, discouraging predators. Before conflict began, carnivorous dinosaurs varied widely in size. Some were small and fast. Others were large and powerful. Sharp teeth, clawed hands, forward-facing eyes. Traits shaped by hunting. Predation is part of ecosystems, but it is not constant action. Much time is spent resting, observing, moving quietly. The prehistoric world was not endless conflict. It was cycles of activity and stillness. Large predators must conserve energy. Hunting is costly. Success is not guaranteed. Balance between effort and reward shaped behavior. Predators rarely eliminate prey entirely. If prey disappears, so do predators. Natural selection favors equilibrium. This balance sustained dinosaurs for over 160 million years. Smaller predators relied on agility, long legs, light bodies, quick reflexes. Herbivores adapted in response. Group living, alertness, protective structures. Some herbivores likely traveled in herds. Trackways suggest group movement. Herding increases vigilance. It protects juveniles. Cooperation supports survival. Evolution between predator and prey can be described as a slow arms race. Sharper teeth, thicker skin, faster legs, better senses, but always gradual, never instant. Juveniles were smaller and more vulnerable. Rapid growth reduced this vulnerability. Parents may have guarded nests. Protective behavior influences survival rates. Over time, feeding strategies diversified. Some herbivores developed complex dental batteries for grinding. Some carnivores developed crushing bites. Adaptation reflects opportunity. Each dinosaur influenced another. Predators shaped herbivore behavior. Herbivores shaped plant distribution. Plants shaped habitat structure. Everything interconnected. Imagine an open Cretaceous plain. A herd of herbivores grazing quietly. A predator watching from a distance. No sudden movement. Just awareness, patience, balance. Though it feels solid beneath us, the earth is always moving. Not quickly, not noticeably in a single lifetime, but steadily, over millions of years. The continents drift. In the time of early dinosaurs, most land was joined as Pangaea, but tectonic forces beneath the crust gradually pulled it apart. First into two major sections, then into smaller continents. This separation reshaped the planet. As continents drifted apart, oceans widened between them. New coastlines formed. New shallow seas appeared. Water influenced climate. Moisture patterns shifted. Habitats transformed. When populations become separated by oceans or mountains, they evolve independently. This is a powerful force in evolution. Isolated groups adapt to local conditions. Over time, they become distinct. As land masses drifted, dinosaur populations found themselves isolated. Dinosaurs in what is now North America diverged from those in Africa. South America developed its own lineages. Asia followed separate paths. Variety increased. Continental drift created different climates. Some regions became humid and forested. Others remained dry and open. Dinosaurs adapted accordingly. Longer legs for open plains. Heavier bodies for dense forests. Evolution reflects environment. As plates collided, mountains rose. High elevations created new temperature zones. New plant life emerged. Dinosaurs adapted to changing terrain, gradually, without urgency. In some eras, high sea levels divided continents into island chains. Islands encourage specialization. Limited resources shape body size. Some dinosaurs became smaller. Others adapted uniquely. By the Cretaceous period, continents were more recognizable, though still not in modern positions. Diverse ecosystems spread across the globe. Dinosaurs occupied nearly every land habitat. Isolation combined with climate diversity accelerated evolutionary branching. New horned dinosaurs appeared in one region, armored dinosaurs in another. Feathered theropods diversified widely. The tree of life expanded. Dinosaurs were not confined to one continent. They spread across the world, from polar regions to tropical forests. Their adaptability allowed broad distribution. Even near polar latitudes, dinosaurs lived. The climate was warmer than today, though light cycles were extreme. Long summers, long winters. Adaptation allowed survival. Even here, throughout the dinosaur era, drift continued, slowly, invisibly, reshaping coastlines, altering currents, influencing rainfall. Every shift created new challenges and new opportunities. Dinosaurs did not resist change. They adapted. Over millions of years, small changes accumulated. Teeth shapes shifted. Body proportions adjusted. Behavior evolved. The Earth itself is an active participant in evolution, shifting land, changing climates, rising mountains. Dinosaurs evolved, not just because of biology, but because the planet changed. Imagine watching continents drift from above, slowly separating, oceans widening, dinosaurs below, continuing their quiet lives, unaware of the shifting ground beneath them. As the Jurassic period faded, the Cretaceous began. Continents were more separated now, oceans wider, coastlines longer. The world felt more varied, more regional, more complex. One of the most important changes of the Cretaceous was botanical. Flowering plants appeared, small at first, unassuming, but highly adaptable. They spread quickly. With flowering plants came new forests, new ground cover, new food sources. Leaves were softer, fruits developed, seeds diversified. Herbivorous dinosaurs adapted again. Hadrosaurs, often called duck-billed dinosaurs, thrived during this time. They possessed complex dental batteries, hundreds of teeth working together, efficient plant processes. They grazed in large groups, calmly shaping vegetation. Horned dinosaurs also flourished. Ceratopsians developed bony frills and facial horns. These features may have served for display, or species recognition, or protection. Evolution often blends functions. Ankylosaurs carried heavy armor, bony plates embedded in skin, clubs at the ends of their tails. Protection through structure, defense without aggression. Large carnivores also appeared. Tyrannosaurus is among the most well-known. Its size and bite force were remarkable, but even apex predators were part of a larger balance. They depended on healthy ecosystems. Smaller feathered dinosaurs diversified further. Some climbed, some hunted insects, some refined gliding into powered flight. Birds continued evolving quietly. With flowering plants came insects. With insects came pollination. Color likely increased in landscapes. Dinosaurs may have seen a more vibrant world than earlier periods allowed. High sea levels created inland seas. Shallow waters supported marine reptiles and abundant life. Dinosaurs inhabited coastal plains. Near these warm seas, the Cretaceous climate was generally warm, but more varied than earlier eras. Regional differences increased. Isolation deepened evolutionary paths. Even near the poles, dinosaurs lived. Though winters brought long darkness, temperatures remained moderate. Adaptations supported survival. Through seasonal light shifts, evidence of nesting grounds suggests some dinosaurs returned to the same locations year after year. This implies memory, or instinctual migration, or social learning. Complex behavior evolved quietly. Fossil nests show carefully arranged eggs. Some adults appear to have guarded them. Parental behavior may have been more common than once believed. By the late Cretaceous, dinosaur diversity was at its height. Many species, many forms, many strategies. Evolution had branched widely. Imagine a Cretaceous valley, flowering plants in bloom, a herd of hadrosaurs grazing, distant ceratopsians moving slowly, birds fluttering between branches. The earth feels abundant, balanced, alive. For many years, dinosaurs were imagined as solitary animals, wandering alone, driven only by instinct. But fossil evidence suggests something more nuanced. Some dinosaurs likely lived in groups, across different continents. Parallel footprints have been preserved in ancient rock, long lines of tracks, moving in the same direction. Similar sizes together, sometimes larger prints, surrounded by smaller ones. These patterns suggest herds, movement together. Group living provides benefits. More eyes to watch for predators, protection for the young, shared knowledge of feeding grounds. Herd behavior increases survival. In several fossil sites, clusters of nests have been found, eggs arranged carefully in circular patterns, sometimes in large colonies. This suggests seasonal return to the same nesting areas, a rhythm repeated yearly. Dinosaur eggs varied in size and shape. Some were elongated, others round. Shell structure reveals breathing pores. Embryos required oxygen exchange. Nesting strategy mattered. Some fossils show adult dinosaurs positioned over nests, not randomly, but in protective postures. This suggests guarding behavior, perhaps warmth regulation, or defense from scavengers. Studies of bone rings indicate rapid growth. Young dinosaurs matured quickly. Fast growth reduces vulnerability. Within a few years, some species reached near full size. Though we cannot hear them, it is possible dinosaurs use sound to communicate. Birds today use vocal signals. Some dinosaur skull structures suggest resonance chambers. Communication may have been subtle, not roaring constantly, but signaling when needed. Horns, frills, plates, these may have been more than defense. They could signal maturity, health, species identity. Visual communication matters. In group living, evidence from bone chemistry suggests some dinosaurs migrated seasonally, following vegetation growth, or moving to nesting sites. Migration requires memory, or instinct refined over generations. Dinosaurs likely followed daily cycles, feeding at certain times, resting during others, predators conserving energy, herbivores grazing in patterns. The prehistoric world had rhythms. Like any ecosystem today, young animals today often engage in play behavior. Play refines motor skills, strengthens bonds. Though we cannot observe directly, it is reasonable that young dinosaurs explored their surroundings with curiosity, learning quietly. Not all dinosaurs were highly intelligent, but some may have been more aware than earlier imagined. Brain-to-body ratios in certain species suggest moderate cognitive ability, especially among smaller theropods. Imagine a small group of feathered theropods, adults scanning surroundings, juveniles exploring nearby, soft movements, alert but calm. This image replaces the outdated view of constant aggression. In nature, most time is not dramatic. It is feeding, resting, moving slowly, watching the horizon. Dinosaurs likely lived much the same way. Imagine a warm Cretaceous evening, a nesting ground near a riverbank, eggs resting in shallow soil, adults nearby, the sky fading into twilight. Everything feels steady. When we imagine dinosaurs, we often think about size, length, height, teeth. But another question quietly arises. How intelligent were they? One way scientists estimate intelligence is by comparing brain size to body size. This ratio is not perfect, but it offers clues. Some dinosaurs had relatively small brains for their large bodies. Others, especially smaller theropods, had proportionally larger brains. Small predatory dinosaurs often had forward-facing eyes, good depth perception, quick movement. These traits suggest awareness of surroundings, coordination, adaptability. Vision was likely important. Some dinosaurs may have had color vision. Others relied on smell. Fossil skulls reveal large nasal cavities in certain species, indicating strong olfactory senses. The inner ear structures of some dinosaurs suggest good balance, especially in agile theropods. Balance is essential for precise movement and perhaps for social interaction. If some dinosaurs lived in groups, basic social awareness would be useful. Recognizing individuals, responding to signals, protecting young. Even simple cooperation requires cognitive ability. It is important to remain grounded. Dinosaur intelligence was not human intelligence. They did not build tools. They did not create language. Their awareness fit their ecological roles. Nothing more, nothing less. Predatory dinosaurs may have used strategy, waiting patiently, observing herd movement, selecting weaker prey. Such behavior does not require high reasoning. but it requires timing and perception. Animals today learn through repetition, avoiding danger, locating food, remembering safe routes. Dinosaurs likely did the same, learning quietly, within their environment. If certain species guarded nests, this suggests behavioral complexity, protective behavior, possibly recognition of offspring. Parental investment increases survival rates. Birds today display a wide range of intelligence, from simple instinct to remarkable problem-solving. Since birds descended from dinosaurs, some cognitive foundations may have existed long ago. Fossils preserve bones, not thoughts. We must interpret carefully, avoid exaggeration, avoid assumption. Scientific understanding, move slowly, carefully. Intelligence evolves in response to need. If an environment requires flexibility, cognitive traits may expand. If stability dominates, instinct may suffice. Dinosaurs filled many niches. Their mental capacities likely varied widely. Birds today demonstrate memory, navigation, and communication. These abilities evolved gradually. Their roots lie deep in dinosaur ancestry. Intelligence, like feathers, was not sudden. It is tempting to imagine dinosaurs as either primitive or brilliant. The truth is balanced. They were well-adapted animals. Their awareness matched their needs. No more, no less. Imagine a small feathered dinosaur, perched quietly, head turning slightly, observing movement in the grass. Alert, aware, present, not dramatic, just attentive. For over 160 million years, dinosaurs evolved. They adapted to shifting continents, changing climates, new plants, new ecosystems. Their presence shaped the planet. But Earth's history is never still. Change continues, even in long eras of stability. Toward the end of the Cretaceous period, dinosaurs remained diverse. Forests were rich. Flowering plants had spread widely. Birds were present. Ecosystems were complex and layered. Life seemed steady, balanced. About 66 million years ago, a large asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere. It struck near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact released enormous energy, but the effects unfolded over time, not instantly everywhere. The collision sent dust and particles into the atmosphere. Sunlight was partially blocked. Temperatures shifted. Plant growth slowed in many regions. Ecosystems began adjusting. Gradually, when plants decline, herbivores are affected. When herbivores decline, predators feel the impact. Food chains are interconnected. Shifts ripple outward. But even in disruption, life persists in pockets. It is important to remember, extinction was not one single day. It unfolded over years, perhaps decades. Different regions responded differently. Some ecosystems endured longer, others changed quickly. Smaller animals often survive environmental shifts more effectively. They require less food. They reproduce faster. Some small feathered dinosaurs, already evolving into birds, continued. They adapted. They endured. At the same time, massive volcanic activity in what is now India was reshaping landscapes. Climate shifts may have begun before the asteroid. Multiple factors likely influenced the outcome. Earth systems are complex. Eventually, the large non-avian dinosaurs disappeared, but not all dinosaurs ended. Birds survived. They carried forward millions of years of evolution. The story did not close. It transformed. After the event, forests slowly returned. Plants diversified again. Mammals expanded into new niches. Birds radiated widely. Evolution continued, as it always does. Extinction is not the end of life. It is a reshaping, a turning point. Earth has experienced many such transitions. Each time, life adapts. 66 million years is a vast distance in time, yet in Earth's 4.5 billion year history, it is one chapter. Dinosaurs thrived for far longer than humans have existed. Perspective brings calm. Today, every bird in the sky carries dinosaur ancestry. Feathers remain. Hollow bones remain. Air sacs remain. The lineage continues. Imagine the Cretaceous sky. Dust slowly settling. Small feathered creatures moving through recovering forests. Life adjusting quietly. Not ending. Continuing. When large non-avian dinosaurs disappeared, life did not fall silent. It shifted. It adapted. And in the quiet forests that slowly returned, small feathered dinosaurs continued living. We now call them birds. The dinosaurs that survived were generally small, light-bodied, feathered, capable of flight or short glides. They required less food. They reproduced quickly in unstable environments. These traits matter. Flight allowed mobility. Bird ancestors could travel to find food, to escape danger, to explore new habitats. Wings became tools of resilience. Smaller animals tend to reproduce faster. Egg-laying cycles allowed quick population recovery. Adaptation works best when generations turn over quickly. With large dinosaurs gone, ecological niches opened. Plants regrew. Insects flourished. Small mammals expanded. Birds diversified. The world felt quieter, but still alive. Modern birds still carry the legacy of dinosaurs. Feathers evolved long before flight. Now they serve many purposes: insulation, display, camouflage, migration. The story of feathers never ended. Bird skeletons remain lightweight. Air sacs improve oxygen exchange. These features trace back to theropod ancestors. Evolution keeps what works. Over time, bird beaks diversified. Some adapted for seeds, others for fish, others for nectar. Diet drives anatomy. An ancient pattern continues. As the continents continued drifting, bird populations became isolated. Isolation once again created diversity. New species emerged across the globe, from polar regions to tropical forests. While birds evolved, mammals expanded too. Small nocturnal creatures adapted to daylight niches. Diversity increased. Life reorganized. Without rush, without drama. The age of giant dinosaurs gave way to a world of smaller creatures. But size does not define success. Adaptability does. Birds exemplify this truth. Modern birds use sound to communicate, though ancient dinosaur sounds remain unknown. The potential for vocal signaling existed long ago. Communication evolves gradually. Many birds migrate seasonally, navigating across continents. This behavior reflects deep neurological development. The roots of these abilities trace back through dinosaur ancestry. When you see a bird in flight today, you are witnessing a living dinosaur. The lineage is unbroken, feathers in motion, bones shaped by deep time. A reminder that extinction is not always final. Imagine a quiet forest today, a bird lifting from a branch. Its wings unfold. Air moves beneath feathers. It rises, a descendant of ancient dinosaurs, still present, still evolving. Dinosaurs are gone from the land, but their traces remain in stone, in sediment, in quiet layers of earth that formed over millions of years. Fossils are not dramatic objects. They are patient records. When an organism dies, its remains are usually scattered, but occasionally, conditions are just right. Rapid burial in sediment, low oxygen, minerals slowly replacing bone. Over time, the structure hardens. Rock forms around it. A fossil is created. Fossilization is uncommon. Most organisms leave no trace. What we find is only a fraction of what once existed. Each discovery adds a small piece to a vast puzzle. Bones reveal much. Muscle attachments, growth rings, injury and healing, even disease. Through careful study, scientists reconstruct movement, posture, and behavior. Not all fossils are bones. Footprints preserved in mud tell stories of motion, stride length, speed, group behavior. A trail of prints can reveal more than a skeleton. Fossilized nests provide insight into parenting, egg arrangement, embryo development, seasonal return to nesting grounds. Small details reveal complex behavior. In rare cases, feathers leave impressions in stone, fine structures preserved in delicate detail. These discoveries reshaped our understanding of dinosaurs. They confirm the connection to birds. Modern tools enhance discovery. CT scanning reveals internal structures without damaging fossils. Isotope analysis uncovers migration patterns. Microscopic study reveals growth rates. Science moves carefully, step by step. Even today, new dinosaur species are discovered regularly. Remote regions, hold unexplored formations, ancient sediments, still contain secrets. The story is not finished. Science evolves. Earlier interpretations are sometimes revised. Dinosaurs, once thought sluggish, are now understood as active. Feathers, once doubted, are now widely accepted. Understanding deepens gradually. Each fossil reminds us of how much we do not know. Earth's history is vast. Our knowledge is partial. Yet every discovery adds clarity. In museums around the world, skeletons stand quietly, reconstructed from fragments, each bone carefully positioned. These displays are not final truths. They are current interpretations, snapshots of understanding. Dinosaurs capture imagination. Films and books often emphasize drama, but real science is quieter. It values patience, evidence, careful reasoning. As long as fossils remain beneath rock and soil, new information awaits. Evolution is an ongoing study, not a closed chapter. Imagine a paleontologist brushing dust from stone, a bone slowly emerging after millions of years. Not dramatic, just careful, deliberate, a quiet uncovering of deep time. The story of dinosaurs does not rush toward an ending. It stretches across deep time, millions of years of slow change, gradual adaptation, quiet persistence. There is no need to hold every detail, no need to remember each name. The rhythm of evolution is enough. Long before humans, dinosaurs walked beneath ancient skies. Long before that, other life forms adapted and faded. And long after, life will continue in new forms. The Earth is patient. It does not hurry. Continents drift. Climates shift. Species adapt. Nothing remains fixed forever. But nothing disappears without leaving traces. Fossils remain. Birds remain. Patterns remain. When you see a bird today, you are witnessing a continuation of that ancient story. Feathers in motion, hollow bones, air sacs filling with breath. The lineage is unbroken. Dinosaurs did not truly vanish. They transformed. Thinking about millions of years can feel vast, but it can also feel calming. There is no urgency. In deep time, no pressure, just gradual unfolding. Across eras, life rises, life adapts, life continues. From small reptile ancestors to towering giants, from giants to birds in flight, the pattern remains steady. Imagine Earth as it once was. Warm air over conifer forests, sauropods moving slowly, stegosaurs browsing quietly, feathered theropods gliding between trees. No noise of engines, no cities, just wind and movement. Now imagine the sun setting over a Cretaceous plain, light fading, shadows stretching long, a herd resting, predators lying still, the world breathing slowly. You do not need to understand every evolutionary step. You do not need to picture every ancient forest. The story can fade gently, like footprints, softening in sand. Allow your breathing to slow in and out. Dinosaurs existed for more than 160 million years, a span so long that even imagination grows quiet. Evolution did not stop with dinosaurs. It did not stop with mammals. It does not stop with us. Change continues, slowly, naturally, without urgency. Imagine the Earth turning slowly in space, continents drifting, birds flying, forests growing, time stretching gently outward. The story of dinosaur evolution is not about extinction. It is about transformation, adaptation, continuity, life moving forward in quiet cycles. You can let the images soften. Let the ancient forests dissolve. Let the footsteps fade. Deep time continues. Without effort. You can rest now. The earth will continue turning. Life will continue evolving. There is nothing to do. Only quiet continuation. I hope you sleep well and dream softly. Good night.